Hi, my name is Lisa Button, and this is for class ELSE 6073 with Dr. Greer. My lesson is called Identifying Numbers Lessons 1 through 50 for math. The grade level that I'm teaching is second. The number of students are 6. The location is Special Education Resource Classroom, and the level of performance is that they're at kindergarten level. Our lesson goals, or our focus of the lesson, is for students will be able to identify and count numbers 1 to 50 correctly. The standard address is k.n.pv.1. That is to count to 100 by ones and tens, count forward by ones from any given number up to 100. The lesson objectives and the content objectives are: students will be able to identify and count numbers 1 through 50 as being able to count by tens. Students will be able to identify and count numbers when prompted. Students will create a visual presentation of numbers 1 through 50 by using base 10 blocks. These right here are base 10 blocks. The kids can take these and break them apart and put them together, but 1 is equal to 10. And they will be able to count by tens until they get to 50. The materials that we need are base 10 blocks that I just showed you, visual displays on handouts and worksheets, such as we have 2 worksheets. Here's one, and it shows place value by using the base 10 blocks into the bucket. And the second one here is using place value by tens and putting the number in the box. Pencils. And the Promethean board. Prior academic learning and prerequisite skills for going on to this lesson are number knowledge, identification of numbers, addition and subtraction of small numbers, and numbers in sequence. A misconception a kid may have is when adding 49 plus 1 to equal 50 instead of 49 plus 1 equal 491. Counting the base 10 blocks by 10 instead of by ones. Lesson plan details. The introduction will last about 10 minutes. Students will count 1 to 50 and base 10 blocks to 50. The teacher will use the Promethean board and draw while asking. When counting by tens, I have 10 blocks right here. When counting by tens, what number comes after 30? So we can count 10, 20, 30. What number comes after 40? 10, 20, 30, 40. Plus 1 more is 41. 10 plus 10 equals 20 because we can count by tens until we get there. Students will grab materials to use. Our learning activities that will last about 20 minutes will introduce vocabulary words and talk about them with the entire group. Some of those vocabulary words will be base 10 blocks, place value, addition, subtraction, and equal. We're going to have students separate by tens by using those connection tubes. We're going to explain to the students that 10 individual cubes are base 10 blocks. So that means that each of these, one of these, can add up to 10. Then we're going to pass out the worksheet and state the directions that I showed with the worksheet earlier. I'm going to point out the base 10 blocks are a replica on the worksheet of what is in front of them. I'm going to guide students through the first problem and ask questions such as, how many groups of 10 are in front of you? Can you show me 40 blocks? The student will complete the worksheet and will ask any questions they may have. Here are some considerations. We need to reinforce students this is a fun activity to use blocks, but it is not an opportunity to play with them. Support reading directions. Guide the classroom in learning the activities, and support students who need extra support with counting the blocks. Our closure will take 5 minutes. We're going to have students group into pairs and show each other how to use the base 10 blocks to find their numbers. Each student will be called on to create numbers with the blocks. An extension for that lesson is we could continue counting showing numbers that are past 50. We could even take these blocks and put 10 in here and count by tens. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and so on. An intervention is that students may work with lower numbers below 20 if they're having difficulty writing and counting those numbers. This would also help with this first worksheet, the place value that I showed. They're able to count those before going on to the extended lesson of counting by tens. An assessment strategy would be the students will write the numbers in order to match the amount of cubes in 10 blocks. An alignment with the objectives would be this aligns with the standard to count by 100 by ones and tens since students are required to learn. And the evidence of student understanding where students will be able to understand the strategy of using base 10 to count to 50. The student feedback could be provided by the students during the activity around and in pairs. Assessment strategy number 2, the students will be able to use numbers 1 through 49 in order to show adding and subtracting numbers respectfully. Alignment with the objectives. The assessment aligns with counting to 100 by ones and tens. Evidence of student understanding. The students will be able to show the evidence of learned material through a written form in the handout and verbally when called on. The feedback will be given after each responds. Utilizing knowledge about the students to show effectiveness. Building on a personal learning experience. The lesson is building from the previous demonstration and teaching on learning numbers that count up to 10 and learning how to count by fives. So you could start with counting by fives and then starting to count by tens. This will support the foundational skills for addition and subtraction for double and triple numbers in the future. When students work together, they're able to form a sense of positive school community and promote an environment that's conducive to learning. The plan supports our support students in following directions and listening to their peers. Students will be walked through one example before starting on their own, and students should be prompted when counting by tens. For instance, we would bring this worksheet up and we would do the first one together. 10, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and then we would put 24 in the bucket. Our closure is to make sure that kids are actually understanding numbers and able to use them with addition and subtraction. Thank you.